the only reason they can carry on these war crimes, this barbarism, this savagery, is because the United States and the European Union, including our government, grant Israel impunity for those crimes and never, ever sanction them. The people before profit motion is very different from the government's or any of the opposition's, but I think very much in line with the view of the overwhelming majority of Palestinians. And what it attempts to convey is the truth about the nature of the Israeli regime. That the Israeli regime is not a legitimate actor or a normal state. It is a terrorist state, it is an apartheid state, it is a state that has been built from its inception on the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, of the establishment of an apartheid system, of the day in, day out ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, theft of Palestinian land, illegal occupation, denial of the most basic rights to the Palestinians, and ongoing war crimes, crimes against humanity, and violations of international law. The war crimes and the barbarism that Israel is now inflicting on Gaza are not the exception in the state of Israel. They are the rule from the state of Israel. And the only reason they can carry on these war crimes, this barbarism, this savagery, is because the United States and the European Union, including our government, grant Israel impunity for those crimes and never, ever sanction them. That is the problem. It's very, very simple. Never sanction them. Even though they have been accused by every single human rights organisation in the world with evidence of crimes against humanity, war crimes, violations, and then in front of the world, we see it now, the veil drops and they declare their open intent to commit crimes against humanity and carry them out. Ethnic cleansing, the 17-year-long siege, turning off water, food and electricity, and the world does nothing. So we say, expel the Israeli ambassador, impose sanctions on Israel, and frankly, motions in here will not do it, so we need masses out on the streets here and across the world to achieve it.
In the last 10 days, we have heard a lot about Israel's right to defend itself. We heard it from Joe Biden, we heard it from Ursula von der Leyen, we heard it from the Taoiseach. And what defence of an apartheid state looks like is now very clear. It means attempted starvation of over 2 million people in Gaza. It means bombing hospitals, schools and apartment blocks. It means more than 3,000 Palestinians, including over 1,000 children, being killed by Israeli airstrikes. But I want to ask a question. When does Palestine get the right to defend itself? Is 75 years of ethnic cleansing, of destruction of Palestinian homes and apartheid enough? Is 17 years of a brutal siege of Gaza enough? Is 10,000 Palestinians killed in the last 15 years enough? When do the world leaders arrive in Palestine and declare that Palestinians have the right to defend themselves? The answer is they won't, because Israel serves their interests in the region. But for those of us who do support the Palestinian people, it is vital that we say they have the right to resist. They have the right to rise up against occupation. They have the right to engage in general strike, as happened today in the West Bank, against the occupation. And they have the right to armed resistance. Of course, not targeting civilians, but armed resistance to the IDF, in particular in the coming threatened ground invasion. And for those of us outside Palestine, this is not just a right, but a duty to do everything that we can to stop the genocide. There's an old slogan of the Palestinian left. The road to Jerusalem begins in Cairo, Damascus and Amman. But right now, as the bombs rain down in Gaza, that road begins in Dublin, in Belfast and in cities right around the world. We need tens of millions of people on the streets this weekend to say, stop the slaughter, end the siege and end the occupation.
Minister, the only thing that brings about peace is a political settlement. A settlement that, regardless of your creed, people can coexist. That coexistence cannot under a system of oppression and occupation. In fact, it's an affront to the concept. Nobody wants to see anybody die, regardless if they're Jewish, Muslim, Christian, or no religion at all. But decades of brutal oppression and international impurity to Israel's apartheid has led us to this situation. What does it take to conclude that Israel is not a normal state? Its very existence is to exist in a perpetual conflict that inflicts utter barbarity on the Palestinian people. Over the last 10 days, Israel have murdered 4,000 people in the Gaza Strip. That's including 1,000 children. Now, as legislators and members of the public, we can send our solidarity to the Palestinian people. We can call an end to the siege, expel the Israeli ambassador, which other countries have done, and call out the crimes of the Israeli state.